What's up, guys? Greatermon here, and today, I have a little topic we can talk about today. I'm hopefully gonna have a comp Overwatch video out tomorrow about how Season 10 was for me, so that'll be fun. Hopefully I'll get that out tomorrow. Tomorrow. So, recently, I want to try to make a lot of videos on Avengers Infinity War, because this left us with a lot of questions, and it's just a really good movie. So, one of my favorite parts about this movie was Thanos. This movie isn't really an Avengers movie. It's more of the villain movie. It's like the villain's movie, but yeah, the Avengers are in here too. I found on Instagram a total of everybody who was in the movie, like every main hero, like Loki up to Spider-Man to Iron Man, Drax, all of them. Thanos had the most screen time out of all of them. He had 29 minutes of screen time. Everybody else had less, and it went lower. Like, Spider-Man had 7 minutes of screen time in the movie, so, this wasn't really an Avengers movie. It was more of a Thanos' movie. It was him collecting the Infinity Stones, and then proceeding to, well, spoilers too, because I can't talk, we need to talk about this, so, get out of here. He proceeds to snap his fingers, and then destroys half of humanity, or half of the universe. Well, yeah, half of life ceased to exist. And it left the OG Avengers, the original Avengers from the very first movie. So, for some reason, Rocket was still there too. I don't know why. But this was Thanos' movie. Thanos is no joke in this movie. Like, I watch these movies thinking, oh, everybody's gonna be fine, they're not gonna die. This was the movie where I was actually on the edge of my seat, to where I was scared for everybody who was in the movie. Literally, I remember watching the scene where Scarlet Witch and Vision are, like, out in the city and they're watching the news on the television. It was just out of nowhere. You see Corvus Glade just then stab Vision, pulls him up in the air, and you see him. I jumped. I was actually embarrassed, too, because I jumped when it happened. I was like, Jesus Christ. It was just out of nowhere, where he just gets stabbed. And I jumped, because it got me. It scared the crap out of me. But Vision was the one who, like, he got stabbed, and then his freaking chunk of his head got pulled out, so that was pretty nice. I bet he's gonna come back, though, because I think Shuri placed some files of him somewhere in her computer, or, like, thing when he was working on her, when she was working on him, so they could possibly bring him back. I don't know. But the Black Order wasn't a huge different, like, big people. I didn't really care for them. But Thanos was probably the best villain we've ever gotten, next to Loki. Loki was everybody's favorite. Really, he's not a favorite villain of mine. He is a favorite for me, but I think the reason why everybody loves him, because he's kind of a lovable character, and he's kind of a good villain, and he's in all the movies, too. He's been in the movies since Thor 1, all the way to Avengers Infinity War. So he's been in these movies a lot, and I knew he's probably going to die, because I barely saw him in any of the other trailers, so I'm like, okay, Loki's going to die in this movie. And I wasn't surprised when he died. So, everybody loved Loki. For me, it was like Loki, and Vulture. I thought Vulture was a good villain, because he was more of a street-level villain. And Killmonger. Don't forget about Killmonger, too. He's also a really good villain, too. But these were, like, characters. Vulture didn't think of himself as a bad guy. He thought he was doing the right thing. And that's understandable. Same with Killmonger. He thought he was doing the right thing. And you could believe in his You could agree with his reasons for doing this, but you still don't like him. That's why these are good villains. And Vulture mixed into Peter's life, and usually they sometimes do. But not a lot of the MCU villains are always my favorite villains. There are some that are just forgettable. Like I didn't think we needed Zemo in Civil War. I didn't really think we needed a villain. Like I just really didn't think you needed a villain in this movie. And they didn't really focus on Baron Zemo in this in the trailers. It was more focused on Civil War, and I just didn't really care for him. I think people liked him. I liked him I think his character is cool, but I felt like out of place in the movie. I still like it though, but I didn't think he needed a villain. But there are usually a lot of forgettable villains, like Ultron. I remember when they first announced Avengers Infinity War, I was hyped. Because I heard, like, a bio that he's unstoppable. He's an unstoppable villain who's almost, like, unkillable. And I was like, oh, dude, this movie's going to be crazy. But then you watch the movie, it just doesn't live up to the hype. Avengers Infinity War definitely lived up to the hype. First Avengers, it lived up to the hype. It was corny, but it's good. It's like so corny, but it's just good. Like you don't care. It's that good. Like I don't care that it's corny. It's good. But we need more villains like Thanos. How do we do that? Focus on the villain. Okay? Make us understand the villain. Because we actually got to focus a lot on Killmonger. That's good, because it helped us get to know this character, get to know the backstory of this character, get to understand his reasonings, and not just like, oh, I'm going to destroy half the population because I'm a very evil villain. Ho 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 ho. Yes. That's not really how you should do a villain. Thanos had the most screen time in this movie. Does a villain in, let's say, Spider-Man 2 need 29 minutes of screen time? Does he need more screen time than the hero? No, I don't think so. But this was a movie that they're making 2 movies of this, so they could pretty much do whatever they want. But we're talking about one movie with, probably one hero, one villain. But I say you give some screen time to the villain. Don't make him just this villain that you look at and go like, oh, okay. You try to get to know this character. Try to understand this character. See what he does and why he's so evil and why you should be scared of him and why you think the hero's life is at stake when fighting this villain. You gotta understand him. Like, I want to watch a Marvel movie and then walk out kind of surprised. I usually walk out really happy because it was a good movie most times, but really I usually know what's going to happen. Like, I don't think Vulture is going to literally kill Peter, because he's not. And because, they just freaking added him and they're not going to kill him off, and he's in Infinity War. So, it's just like that. Like, you don't, you know the heroes are going to come out. They're going to come out standing, and they're going to win. They're going to be the last one standing. They're going to defeat the villain, and they're going to win. The villain doesn't get away, he's just captured. That's how it goes in these movies. But maybe sometimes we could actually see a villain win. And then we could see the villain build up throughout the series, maybe. I don't know, but probably not the best idea. But if you want people to love these villains a lot more, I say you do what you did with Thanos. Give him some screen time. Give him, make the audience understand the villain. Make them understand his reasons for doing this and that, and not just thinking he just wants to destroy the world and take over New York or whatever. Like, make them understand him or her. Make them understand the villain. Now, if you do that and you get the villain right, and the performance is good, and and they're not just a mustache twirling villain, then you got yourself a really good villain. Because now, I want villains to be like Killmonger and Thanos. I want more villains like that. Like, I'm not saying I want more villains like Loki, because he's just more of that anti-hero. He's a hero sometimes, but he's mostly a villain. I don't want that, but he's still a good villain. But I want more villains like Thanos and Killmonger. And maybe some more like Vulture. Like, they're good villains. They're really good villains in the MCU. Like Red Skull, Ultron, the Dark Elf dude, the freaking Mandarin from Iron Man 3, the Mandarin. They're just all forgettable villains. Almost all of them are forgettable villains. But Thanos, Killmonger, and Vulture, and Loki really just kind of... They get a lot of spotlight. They're probably the best versions of villains. I thought Hela was okay in Thor Ragnarok, but she wasn't, like, the best to me. Like, I thought she did a really good job, but she just wasn't a good villain. She was kind of forgettable. She's like, oh, I'm going to rule Asgard, because I've been trapped for thousands of years, and now it's my time to get revenge, and then stop Ragnarok, and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just didn't feel like it just felt like another movie where a villain really wasn't needed. Because the Planet Hulk storyline was good enough. I was actually having fun with that, but when you go back to Hela, it just feels like it's slowing down the pace. Kind of like Star Wars The Last Jedi with the racing scene. It slowed down the pace, but it still didn't stop me from enjoying the movie, even though I really hated that scene. It just felt like Hela's scenes were slowing the movie down from all the fun that's back on Sakaar. But we need more villains like Thanos. I want more villains like Thanos. I want to be afraid of this villain. I want to be scared of this villain. I want to be scared of every move he makes near all these heroes. I want you to show me how good of a villain you want him to be. If you do what you did with Thanos in any other Marvel movie, then Marvel has good villains now. We need more villains like Thanos. And that's kind of how I'm going to conclude it. One thing Marvel needs is also memorable music. DC knows how to do this with like the Man of Steel soundtrack. I can, that's a pretty memorable soundtrack. You could I can't remember any of the other themes except the Avengers and Spider-Man. Because, well, they used the original Spider-Man theme song. Of course, I'm not going to forget that. But, most like all the other ones, they're just forgettable themes. And that's my Star Wars. Those are easy to remember, dude. I can remember a Star Wars theme easily. And we need themes for Marvel movies like Star Wars where I can remember them and they're enjoyable to listen to. So, tell me in the comments below, do you want to see more villains like Thanos? Would you like to see other villains in other Marvel movies have a lot of screen time? Not a lot of screen time, like have more screen time than the actual main character, but have some screen time in the movie to get to understand these villains and stuff like that. Would you want to see stuff like Thanos in other movies? Or a lot of screen time and getting to understand the character. Tell me in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment. Tell me what else you'd like to see me do or plan next time. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, guys.